Hey guys, Sak here from sakitech, and in today's video we are going to be sharing 50 plus amazing tips and tricks to customize your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. These tips will also work on the S24 Plus and the S24, so let's dive in and get started right away. Now at the end of this video, as a separate section, I'm also going to show you guys 10 amazing tips to get the best out of your camera on the S24 series. Anyway, let's dive in. Alright, the very first thing I want to talk about has to do with the lock screen. So let me go to the lock screen real quick. Okay, now I'm going to double tap to wake it up. And then basically when I tap on my clock, what I like is I like to have quick access to my voice recorder. So if I have to record something really quickly, I can just tap right here. It brings it up, I tap on record, and it in fact starts to record and then saves that into my voice recorder. So let me show you how to get that done. Let me just log in here, go to your settings, alright, scroll down a little bit, go to lock screen and AOD, and then tap on widgets, and then right away activate the voice recorder. So this might be deactive. What you want to do is you want to activate this, and also you want to tap on reorder. And you want to make sure the voice recorder is on the top. So right now, initially it's at the bottom. So you have to grab it and put it to the top so it is accessible right away. And you can reorder any one of these widgets that you saw on the lock screen. So now I have the voice, weather, music, schedule. And if I go to the lock screen, they're available right here in the same exact sequence I set them up. Okay? Fantastic. Let's move on. Now there's something you want to set with your fingerprint, so let me go to my settings and I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. I'm going to go to security and privacy, go to biometrics, right here, lock screen, fingerprints. I'm going to put my password in, okay, and you can see I have 2 fingerprints registered. Now by default, the phone just names them finger 1, finger 2. So right now, if I went in here and try to delete this, remove it or whatever, I have no idea what I'm deleting. So what you can do is you can tap on check added fingerprints and then tap right here, and it's going to tell you that is in fact fingerprint number 1. So once I determine that, I can tap on this guy and I can say left index. Okay, so rename them after identifying them, so in the future it is easier to manage them. And of course, if you want your phone to quickly log in without animations, look at this. If I have this enabled, all right, I'm going to go out, look at this. So if I log in, there's a little animation and that adds a little delay to the fingerprint logging in session. But if I go back here to settings and scroll down a little bit, security, privacy, lock screen, fingerprints, and disable the animation, look at what happens. It's going to work much faster. It's perceptive, but it's just going to feel faster. You can try it out. It's something you're going to be using a lot, so make sure you set it up properly. The next thing I'm going to talk about has to do with the S Pen. It's a very useful feature you're going to be using a lot. So go to the settings, okay, and go over to advanced features right here, and then go into S Pen, and go to Air Actions after you enable them. Make sure it's enabled, and then once you enable it, it might ask you to insert your S Pen to connect it to use for Air Actions. So I'm going to do that right now. So when you insert it, it's going to say connecting and connected, so you're good to go. Then remove the S Pen. Once you remove it, it's going to say removed, and now go into Air Actions, and I'm going to show you something that I use a lot. 2 things I use a lot that you should be using too. So first and foremost, you can set this option, press and hold the pen to launch something, okay? So what happens when you press and hold this pen button right here, okay? So in this case, it launches the camera, or I can launch other things like the voice recorder. So look at this. If I press and hold now, it is going to launch the voice recorder. This is the same voice recorder into which stuff gets saved from the lock screen, which would show up on the top right here. So you can customize this pen button right here. Now going back into Air Actions, what I'd really like to do is I like to swipe down, and basically you can use this pen as a remote control to control your device from a distance, and I'm talking about from across the room. So if you were to launch your camera, you can single press this button to take a photo, double press to switch cameras, and use all kinds of gestures to activate other features. Now let me show you, if I launch the camera right now, okay, It's just looking downwards. But if I press this button here, it is going to actually take a photo. So look at this. So imagine taking group photos from a distance with the S Pen as a remote control. This is an unmatched feature. So you can try that out, make sure the air actions are enabled. And if you're in the video mode, and if you press and hold, or I'm sorry, just press it, it's going to start to record the video as you just saw. Okay? It's all black because the camera is blocked. But if I press it again, it also stops recording. So amazing feature, and related to that feature, if you go to the gallery, you can also use this as a presentation tool. So look, if I press this button, it moves the photo to the next one. Tap it again, next one. Double tap, goes back. So you can do a lot of things with the air actions, and all the list of things you can do is right here. Just explore and see what every single app allows you to do. Okay? So air actions as a remote control, fantastic. Let's move on. Now the next thing I like to do is in the lock screen, there's a couple things you can do. So normally you pinch the screen and you go to Wallpaper and Style, and if you tap this portion on the left, that is going to allow you to actually customize the lock screen. Or if you go to the settings and if you scroll down and go to lock screen, you can also enable this setting. It says touch and hold to edit. This way, if I'm in the lock screen, just like this, I can touch and hold to start the editing process right from here. This is the same thing you get when you pinch the screen and try to change stuff. So with the lock screen, you have a clock right here, okay? Obviously, you can customize the clock with the different fonts and different styles. Okay, that's not what I'm going to show you guys. What I do want to show you guys is, by the way, you can also have no clock if you just want the photo in the back. Look at this. You don't have to have a clock. But anyway, let's put a clock right here. Let's put this one. And underneath the clock, there's also an option. You may not be able to see it, but it says widgets. Now, if you tap on that, that is going to allow you to add a bunch of widgets in your lock screen right under the clock. So let's grab this. Let's just say alarm right here. And then I'm going to say calendar right here. And then I'm going to say one more thing. Let's just do weather. Okay, so let's do the moon phase. And also let's do the precipitation. So now you've got 4 widgets, and you've got the clock, and you've got the notifications at the bottom, and then you can tap on wallpapers and select a different wallpaper. Let me just pick a different wallpaper here. Let's just do this one right here for a second so you can see it more clearly, as you can see. And then finally, tap on contact information right here and add a signature. Okay, that's going to make sure to personalize your phone even further at the bottom. And you can also tap on one of these guys right here, like the phone, and change the shortcut. Make it to a flashlight, or tap this, make it to a calculator. And now let me just pick a different wallpaper so it looks nicer. So I just did this one right here. So now I have a flashlight, and I have a calculator, and to launch these, I just swipe. Okay, calculator. This is possible without even having to log in to the phone. And if I go back, goes back to the lock screen, and also I can activate my flashlight right from here. So when I do that, the light on the back is open. So that's a nice shortcut as well. And swipe again to cancel the flashlight. That turns it off. Fantastic. The next thing I want to talk about is one of my favorite features on the new S24 series. Basically, pinch the screen, tap on wallpaper and style, and then change and go to creative right here, and then go to generative. So tap on that, and that's going to allow you to create generative wallpapers. But there's some tips and tricks here that you may not have seen before, even if you know about this feature. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm just going to pick something here. Let's just say painting, okay? I'm going to say a painting of a jungle. Now let's change that to a mountain. Do I want something else? Tap on this one with robots in it. And then I want it to be, let's see, we have all these various options. Let's say classicist option. So I'm going to tap on generate, and it's going to generate a brand new AI wallpaper out of thin air based on these parameters. But hold on. So look at this beautiful wallpaper. It gives you a couple options. So let's set this one up, okay, and tap on, let's say, both home screen and the lock screen. I'm going to set these as my wallpapers. Now you set the wallpaper, but there's additional things you can do here. One thing I want you guys to notice is when you create an AI wallpaper, you are going to get this AI symbol at the bottom. Anytime you see the AI symbol at the bottom, that means this is an AI wallpaper. Now, when you pinch the screen and you go back to wallpaper and style after making a wallpaper, look at this. The wallpaper you created most recently gets saved right here, and all the wallpapers you created before that also get saved right here. All right? Which is fantastic. But what I really like is as you create wallpapers, you can go back in them and recreate them with the same parameters. So I'm going to tap on this one, and now I have the same parameters as the last time when I made this wallpaper, and I can tap on Generate, and look at what happens. It just remade the wallpaper with the same parameters, but this time it is completely different, as you can see. So now I can tap on this one and set that as my wallpaper. Let's do the home screen. Go out there. Fantastic. All right. Just be aware of what you can do with it. All right. The next thing you want to do is you want to go to your settings, and then you want to go all the way down, and then go to device care. And right here, you want to make a quick decision in relation to your battery. Go to the battery, and this is going to be a brand new feature on the S24 Ultra with One UI 6.1. So what you do is you go to battery protection. By default, this might be turned off. So turn this on and go inside. And here's what you want to do. If you know that you're going to keep this phone for a long time, what you can do is you can enable maximum protection. When you enable maximum protection, your phone is only going to charge to a maximum of 80%. By simply doing this, this is going to prolong the battery life so it endures the test of time. Now, if you're somebody that trades in their smartphone every year, you can just go to basic, or you can actually turn this off. Doesn't matter because you're going to be trading this anyway. But let's say you're not sure where you fall. What you want to do is you want to turn this on. Okay, and you want to keep it at adaptive. So basically, adaptive mode activates maximum when you are sleeping. And every other time, if you're charging your phone in daytime, it's just going to do regular charging. This is going to be a balance between max and basic. So that's a battery protection. Make a choice, and you can stick with it, and you can see the results long term. And if you don't care, just turn it off. Now, another great feature actually has to do with calling, one of the primary functions of the smartphone. This is a brand new feature, again with One UI 6.1, only available on the S24, at least for now. So for this example, I'm actually making a phone call, and what I'm going to show you is when you are making a phone call, what you can do is you can pull down the notification panel once and then twice. And on the top, you're going to see the microphone mode. So you can tap on this guy. So what you can choose to do here is you can keep it standard, which is just a usual, or you can do voice focus. So the phone is going to attempt to cancel out the background noise and the ambient noise, and it's going to make sure your voice is in focus for the other person to hear. That is the brand new mic mode you can use during calls, especially if the other person is complaining that they're hearing a lot of ambient noise in the background. This is going to be the best way, one of the best ways to make sure they can hear your voice even more clearly. All right, the next thing you want to do is you want to go to your settings, then you want to go all the way down, go into your About Phone, and tap where it says Edit. And what you want to do here is you want to give your phone a unique name and make it truly yours. So I can sit here and I can say Saki S24 Ultra. And I can tap on Done. And one of the benefits of doing this is when you try to connect to other devices using your smartphone, this is a name that's going to pop up other places. So it's also going to be very easily identifiable. So that's step number one. Step number two, you just bought this phone. It is brand new. You want to make sure that the battery on this phone is 100%. So what you want to do is you want to go to your Members application right here. That's going to be the Samsung's Members application. You may have to log in the very first time with your Samsung account. But once you are logged in, you want to tap on Support, and you want to tap on Phone Diagnostics, and simply go to where it says at the bottom. So you're going to tap on Battery Status. It's going to run the check on the battery. And what you want to do is you want to see the normal status. And also, it should say life good, and obviously capacity should be 5,000 milliamp hours. If you see anything else in these parameters, something is wrong with the battery, and what you want to do is you want to go and exchange that phone as soon as possible. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys has to do with your navigation bar. So if you go to your settings and if you go over to display, this is going to be very important because there is a new feature here. So if you scroll down a little bit and you go to navigation bar, as usual, you have access to button navigation, which is this right here. You got home, recents, okay? You can even tap on more options and you can swap the button positions, as you can see. But the big thing is, and that's the new feature, is the brand new circle to search feature. This is an AI feature built in to the S24s. So if you have the buttons chosen, let's go home, to activate circle to search, you press and hold on the home button right here, and that allows you to activate this feature that you can use to circle anything and get Google search results based on the area that you circled. So that's fantastic, all right? So that's one thing. Now, if you decide to go with swipe gestures, it's going to be different to activate it. And then if I go to swipe gestures, I can still enable or disable circle to search. Now what I can do is basically on the bar, you just tap on the bar to activate circle to search, okay? Now here's the thing you want to remember also. Swipe from the corner upwards to access the regular Google Assistant. Tap on the bar to access circle to search function, okay? And remember, you can circle anything, anywhere, in any app and get results based on that, all right? So that's fantastic. Make sure you set this up the way you want it. Now the next thing that you want to do is you want to pinch the screen, okay? Go to Wallpaper and Style and go to Change Wallpaper. And then go to Creative option right here and make sure that you have both of these options enabled. I'm going to show you what these are, but this one might be disabled from the get-go. It is in fact an amazing feature. So first, let me quickly show you how to enable this because you're going to be using this a lot. So if I go to my settings, okay, and if I go to advanced features right here, I go to labs, you want to make sure that the photo ambient wallpaper is in fact enabled. So here's what you can do with that. Tap on it, okay? When you tap on it, it's going to take you into your gallery. Pick a nice photo that you want of a person, okay? And basically, when you tap on play, you can see on the lock screen, you are going to get these beautiful weather effects that are going to apply to the wallpaper, and it's going to actually be three-dimensional. So you can see the snow is going around this person in front and behind, which is crazy. And even when there are raindrops, they are actually hitting the jacket here, making that effect. So if I tap on done, that is going to be my lock screen wallpaper, and the lock screen wallpaper is going to react to whatever is happening outside. So right now, nothing is happening on the outside. When I tap it, you know, there's no snow, so I'm not getting any snow effects, okay? But it is nighttime, so the wallpaper becomes dark. If it was raining, you would see rain. If it was snowing, you would see snow, okay? Right now, it is not snowing. So that's the other two things you want to play with to customize your phone. By the way, because this is a powerful multimedia device, you want to make sure you get the best possible video and music. So first, go to your settings, go down to advanced features, and then scroll down a little bit and make sure to go to video brightness and choose bright, okay? And then when you choose that, you can apply certain settings to all these various apps you have downloaded. The more you download, the more they're going to show up here, like Netflix, Crunchyroll, HBO Max, whatever. But if you have this enabled, and if you watch videos on any one of these apps, you are simply going to get more vibrant and brighter colors on that display. It's great for movies. So make sure you enable this and then customize it based on your needs for specific apps. And also go back, okay, and scroll up a little bit. Go to sounds and vibration, scroll down a little bit, go to sound quality and effects, and make sure you enable Dolby Atmos and Dolby for gaming, okay? Tap on this, by the way. You can customize it, or you can just pick auto. It'll pick automatically based on need. This is going to get you the best kind of sound when you're watching movies, playing games, whatever. And also I want you guys to know that we have an equalizer here that you can use for listening to music as well. Okay, so anybody that knows what this is knows how to do it. You can even customize it based on your needs, as you can see. Okay, tap on normal. Let's go back. Make sure these are properly configured. The next thing you want to do is you want to customize the power button that is right here. So when you go to your settings, and if you scroll down and go to advanced features, you are able to go to side button. That's what this is called. And then you can customize this. So basically I can double press this to launch the camera, or I can modify it. So I can go to open app and choose calculator. Okay, now when I double press this real quick, it is going to launch the calculator application, because that is what set it out to do. And also what you can do is, if I press and hold the side key, I can either wake up Bixby, which I don't think anybody uses anymore. So what I do is I go to power off menu. So when I do press and hold, it just brings up the power off menu. And from here you can restart, power off, whatever. Okay. But one more thing you can do that's really cool here is, if you go to the settings, you can activate the flashlight. Okay. So now if I double press, it just opens up the flashlight, and that's going to be very useful for nighttime. Maybe you're trying to find a keyhole to put your keys in when you're entering your home. Just double tap, boom, you got the flashlight. Now going back into the advanced features, there's a couple things you want to set up just so it just works for you, for your benefit. So again, go back to advanced features and then go to motions and gestures. And what I like to do here is I like to make sure these two guys are enabled. So basically I can double tap to turn off the display and double tap to wake it up. All right, so go inside and do that. And also over here there's an amazing option. It is mute with gestures. So let's say somebody is calling you or an alarm just goes off. What you can do is you can just grab your phone. Let's say it starts to ring right now. If I just flip it over and dump it like that, it is going to stop ringing. Or if there's any alarms, it's just going to mute the alarms. So it's basically flip to mute. All right, that is a fantastic feature. You can have it enabled like this. This one here is lift to wake. So if I enable this, let's turn off the display here. So right now we have the always on display. If I lift the phone, it's just going to wake up the phone. Okay, and I can take a look at the lock screen and then put it back. It goes back to the always on display. Fantastic. Now talking about the always on display, we now have a brand new always on display that is more simple than before, slightly more aesthetic. If I go over here to lock screen and AOD, look at what happens. AOD, always on display, just enable or disable. And I can also say show lock screen wallpaper. So if I disable this, look at this. I'm going to turn off this phone and I have the always on display, but I don't have a wallpaper in the background, which is this one right here. Now with the new feature, I'm able to add the lock screen wallpaper, so I get a nicer effect, kind of like the iPhones. So this is the lock screen, and then if you wait a couple seconds, it goes to the always on display, but it keeps the wallpaper and it makes it look nicer. Now one more amazing thing you can do has to do with note taking. So let me pull up my notes application. This is just a standard notes application with all Samsung phones, but this feature is only available on the S24. So let me go into this note, and you can see it's just a paragraph. It is about driving safely. Some tips and tricks on how to drive safe. Now this over here is very boring. I can actually tap on the intelligence button here, okay? And that gives me a bunch of options, like being able to auto format and convert this into something more presentable. So if I tap on headers and bullets, look at what happens. It is doing its thing in the background using artificial intelligence, and now it is reformatting that paragraph to something much more organized all by itself, okay? And by the way, you can swipe over and you can access these different variants. So let's say I want to use this one right here, and then I say replace. Now that boring paragraph is turned into this nice and organized with titles and headers. I can also revert this. Let me show you one more thing. Tap the button. I can also create summaries. Again, this is just a small example, but you can create summaries from 20-page long articles. So I can, when it says summarize, I can say add to page before. So now it adds that to the top, and I still have my original paragraph. Whether that's 500 words or 1,000 words or 5,000 words, you're still going to be able to create a summary at a glance information for that big block of text. So these are advanced intelligence options you can access using this button in Samsung Notes, and even do translation or correct spelling and stuff like that, and even grammar. Alright, so one more new feature with the S24 Ultra. If you go to the settings and if you go into the display, we now have this new option known as Adaptive Color Tone, which uses the front camera to adjust the colors and white balance of your screen based on the ambient lighting conditions. So if I tap on this right now, you are going to notice a slight change. It looks cool, and also is easier on the eyes. You can combine this with the eye comfort shield and get maximum relief on the eyes, which would reduce the eye strain. So this is for the eye strain specifically, but this one is just for the way it appears, but usually it makes the screen warmer and more pleasant to look at. And of course, as always, go to motion smoothness and you can choose between 60 Hertz or adaptive 120. Now, because the brand new adaptive 120 Hertz is so well done, you don't really see a huge difference in battery life. So I would always keep this in adaptive and don't even touch standard at this point. The technology now is so advanced. The adaptive gets you the best motion smoothness and also great battery life. By the way, let's say you are outside and you're looking at your phone and it's so bright you may not be able to see the display. You can always tap this button to get an extra boost of brightness. It is going to be a button sitting here as long as you don't have the adaptive brightness turned on. If I turn this on, extra brightness disappears. If I turn this off, it is right here, okay? But at any given time, it will give you that extra boost you need. Simultaneously, there is another feature known as Extra Dim, which is going to be sitting over here on the top, okay? If you don't see this, tap on Edit, and it's going to be right here. Tap on Edit again, and then what you can do is it's going to be at the bottom under Available, and you just drag it and drop it right over. So it would show up right here. You can put it anywhere that you want. Okay, you can customize this area. But Extra Dim is very useful at nighttime. So let's say you're in your bed, the lights are out, but you're looking at your phone, which we know everybody does. So you go to your display, and normally you just lower the brightness so it's going to be easy on the eyes. Now, sometimes under pitch black, it is still very bright. So then what you can do is pull this down and tap on Extra Dim to get an extra dim display that's going to be even less strainful on the eyes. Okay, so great feature to have. These are the things you want to set up on your phones so you can use them when you need them with these quick toggles. Now, one more feature a lot of people don't use for some reason is the wireless power share feature. So again, always go to your settings and go down, okay, and then go into device care, go to battery, and then go into wireless power share right here. And what you can do is, let's say you have a Samsung Galaxy Buds like this one, and the battery is dead. You can enable this, flip the phone, and then you can charge your actual wireless buds right on the back of your smartphone, and then get power and listen to music. Okay, so that's an option you have. Some people don't use it, just something to be aware of. Once you're done charging, make sure to go back here and disable it, even though it should be automatic if it's not used, all right? All right, so let's move on to the camera and talk about some powerful features to maximize the camera ownership. All right, so as you know, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra has a 200 megapixel camera. Now the problem is when you launch the camera and you take a photo, some people think that you just took a 200 megapixel photo. That is not the case. The phone by default only shoots 12 megapixels. However, there is a button right here that you can tap on and you can manually switch to 200 megapixels and then take a 200 megapixel photo. Now the reason that you want to do that is if you want a photo to give you the greatest amount of detail, because the 200 megapixel option is going to give you the maximum resolution. Additionally, you can go back here and you can actually do a 50 megapixel photo. This is also going to get you great amount of detail. It's going to be one step above the default 12. This one right here that you get every time you launch your camera. So this is going to be great for everyday photos. You just take a photo, you're good to go. But if you want to take more detailed photos, maybe to print them later, you want to switch over to a higher resolution to get even more detailed photos. And I will show you one more thing that's really cool. I'm going to take 3 photos right now. I'm going to take one at 200. I'm going to take one at 50. And I'm going to take one at 12. And then I'm going to tap on the preview button right here. And I have those 3 right here. Look at this. I can swipe up on any photo and I can actually see what that photo was shot at, what resolution. So this one is at 12 megapixels. That's the resolution, and that is the size of that photo. Okay. Now look at this. If I swipe over, this is the 50 megapixel photo. But the problem is, because it is higher resolution, it takes more space. So this is almost 6 megabytes. And if I swipe over again, here's the 200 megapixel photo. Now this one is almost 17 megabytes because it's got the highest resolution, as you can see. So always swipe up to get details of a photo, to get information about it later, because you're not going to remember off the top of your head what exact resolution you used every single time. So this is going to be a reminder. One more thing. When you take a photo and you pull it up, at the bottom, you are going to get some options. In this case, it's asking me if I want to remaster the photo. So if the photo doesn't look right to you, you can tap on remaster, and it's going to allow you to make some changes, automatic changes. You're going to get a before and an after preview, okay? So in this case, there's not much difference, minimal difference, but many times remaster ends up making your photos look even better, okay? So that's that. Just be aware that your camera is capable of multiple resolutions that you get to choose manually. And by the way, if you want to zoom in, you know that this phone can zoom in up to 100, okay? So that's great. But if you want to use the maximum zooming capability, you want to stay at 12 megapixels, because if you switch over to 200, you're not going to be able to zoom in. If I tap this, I can only go up to 10 times zoom, okay? Just something to keep in mind. So with the 12 megapixel, I can zoom in all the way up to 100, anywhere in between, it's all going to be up to me. So if you want maximum zooming capability, stay at 12 megapixels. Now, one more thing you want to do is you want to go to your settings, okay? And you want to go all the way down, not all the way down, just a little bit, and make sure the grid lines are enabled. I think they're turned off by default. If you enable them, you will have these grid lines, so you can see it's easier for me to frame photos and maybe put something in the center or to the side, but I know exactly where it is thanks to those nice guides. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about has to do with the video. So when I go to the video right over here, again, over here, I can choose the video quality. I can go from high definition to full high definition to 4K, all the way up to 8K recording. Now, with the 8K recording, there's something I want to show you that's really amazing. So let's say I record a video in 8K. Okay, let's just record a couple seconds here, and then I'm going to turn that off. What I can now do is, that 8K video is extremely high resolution. So I can actually go inside and I can create images out of that 8K video. So here's the video playing, you can see, and here's a button on the side. That's the capture button. So let's say you took a video in 8K and it's a beautiful vista, it's a jungle or whatever, and you want to extract photos from certain frames. So play the video and just tap on this button, and that is going to extract images out of the video. So if I go back into the preview in my gallery, here's the video and here's the image I just extracted from that video. And again, because it's an 8K video, it's ultra high quality, you get an ultra high quality extracted picture from the video. So this way you can actually have unlimited pictures that you can make out of a video. So we're back at the interface. Again, remember from here, for most of your everyday shots, you want to stay at full high definition at 60 to get the best quality and the smoothest quality. But when you need to go higher, then you manually go higher to 4K or 8K. Just something to keep in mind so you know how to use the camera that you paid all this money for. All right, the next thing I want to be talking about is a very expensive feature found on DSLR cameras. So this is going to apply both to photo and video. Let me show you an example. So let's say you're outside and you're taking a photo of your kid or maybe your pet, or maybe you're recording a bunch of moving cars at a racetrack. You have an amazing option. So first go to the photo and make sure you're at 12 megapixels, then go to settings. And then scroll down and look for tracking autofocus. Enable it, okay? Then go back to the camera, and now let's say this thing right here was the object you want to track. So the object is moving around, maybe a pet, maybe a kid, maybe a car. You want to make sure every time you take a photo, it is focused on this object. So I'm going to put the object right here, and all you do is you tap on it, okay? Now you have this yellow square that is tracking this. So wherever I go, it is gonna track it and it's gonna stay focused on it. This is an amazing feature, okay? If this was a kid, a plane, a car, whatever, it is gonna track it as long as it remains inside the viewfinder. And if I exit and come back, it is gonna recognize it again. That's how smart it is. Exit, come back, boom, okay? So just remember that it's an amazing feature to take photos of objects that are moving around. The same thing applies to video. So if I go to my video, and if I'm in full high definition at 60, for example, I can go to the settings, and if I scroll down, it's gonna be right here, okay? Now, again, in video, I can do the same thing. Tap on it, start recording. And now if I move this, it is just gonna remain focused on this subject. It's very smart, and it's not gonna let it go, okay? See? Fast moving, no problem. So the focus will remain on this guy. It's not gonna remain on my hand. See, my hand is out of focus, as you can see, because this is the one that the camera is focusing on. This is a fantastic feature and also a very expensive feature. Now, you may have heard that the iPhone 15 Pro Max has the capability of shooting at 24 megapixels. But here, you can only do 12, 50, and 200. Actually, you can do 24 if that's something you're looking to do. What you do is you tap on More, and you go to Expert RAW. Okay, this is going to be an advanced mode that is going to be fully manual, and it's kind of for professionals, but you can still use it if you want to. You can see right here, I can tap this, and I have 12, I have 24, and I have 50. Okay, so you can shoot at 24 megapixels. The only thing is, when you shoot at Expert RAW, there is extra processing involved to make that photo even more superior, and also it is highly editable to make it better in post-processing. But I just want to let you guys know that the option is in fact right here. Now there is one more thing that is pretty amazing. I'm going to show that to you real quick. Let's go back to the regular photo. So when you are in any mode, you can switch between modes like this. But if you're in any particular mode, when you tap on settings, you only get settings available for that particular mode. So all these settings here apply to the photo mode, okay? And if I go back out and if I switch over to video, now when I tap on settings, I get my video related settings, as you can see, okay? So just be aware of that. And again, if I go to more and if I go to Expert RAW and if I tap on settings, then I get Expert RAW related settings in here, all right? Fantastic. Another amazing feature in this camera is document scanning. So if you go to settings and if you tap on the scan documents and text, make sure this is all enabled, including the auto scan, okay? Now look at how amazing this is. Let's say you have a receipt, a book, a piece of paper, whatever. You just want to scan that as a document into your phone. I'm just going to bring in a piece of document. I'm going to hold it like this. Let's say this is a receipt. Could be anything, any document. So I'm going to bring it right here. And it's going to take a couple seconds, but the phone is going to recognize that this is in fact text. It says hold the camera still. It's going to scan the whole text. So now I can scan it, I can translate it, I can add it to a note, or I can just copy all the text. The good news is I did it just by holding it to the camera. The camera did everything by itself, and then it gave me 4 options. Now I want to scan this as if it was a document. So I would tap on scan, and look at what happens. I can then align these, and then I can tap on save. So now that document, whatever it is, could be a receipt, could be a piece of paper with information on it, could be a menu in a restaurant, whatever, it is now saved onto my computer as a document. And you can see even removed my fingerprint from here. Okay, not perfect, but it's gone. So it's a great little feature that I think you're going to be using a lot. The next thing we're going to talk about has to do with camera optimization. So if you go to your settings, right over here, it says Intelligent Optimization. Tap on it, and what you can do is you can optimize the quality of the photos you take. Now, I keep mine at maximum, but some people like to take fast shots of whatever. So you can actually sacrifice the quality of the photo, but increase the speed at which they're taken. And that's the shutter speed. So now when I go back out, I'm able to tap the speed button so much faster so I can take photos in a quick succession as I'm just moving around or whatever. But I like my photos to be at the maximum quality, so I keep at maximum. You can do medium if you want, or minimum. Again, these are things you can modify based on need. So I'm going to do maximum, and again, it's going to be pretty fast, but the other option is going to be faster. Now, the final thing I want to be talking about has to do with the watermark feature. So when you take a photo, by default, the photo doesn't show anything, okay? Now I'm going to show you guys. Let's go back to the camera. If you go to settings, and if you scroll down a little bit, and if you go to watermark, you can enable this, and then you can customize it. So it shows you the model name of your phone at the bottom left of the device, which you can modify. I can bring it to the middle or put it at the top or whatever. Let's just keep it right on the corner. I can change the font, and also I can change what it says at the bottom. So you can put your name, your signature, whatever. I'm just going to keep it, let's just say S24, so you can see the difference. So S24. Now when I go out there and I take a photo, and if I go inside, it's going to say S24 at the bottom, so you know. So if you share that photo, you can have a signature, a watermark on all your photos if you so desire. All right, guys, so that brings us to the end of this video, but there's going to be many more videos with much more detail. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them down below. Let me know. For now, have a fantastic day.